So we are back with Martine from Pure 7. Hi, Martine. Say hi to everybody.
Hi everyone. Thank you for having me.
This is our second segment with Martine. Min, I'm going to let you lead this off because I would love to share with everyone all the fantastic work that Martine is doing with Wise.
Yes.
Go for it.
And definitely, Martine, thank you for coming in as our head of events for Wise. And I think you've done a few webinars with us already. What is it?
Yeah.
2 or 3?
Yeah, I think it's been 2 and we're working on actually another 2. So
a lot of 2 or 3, I believe that's coming up.
So, I think 3. Yeah, exactly. Actually, yeah. So no, it's very interesting. I mean, what especially during now. I mean, it's during the time of COVID and all the uncertainty. And the first one I found really hit home. I mean, that one was really interesting. It was a wellness one, and that one I found. I mean, it's such a hot topic right now with everybody being stuck at home and in quarantine and in confinement. I really thought that one added a lot of value. And I have one of my clients, Paul Schmick from Alliance Security, that was actually one of the panelists. And I was really happy to have him on because he not only himself had contracted COVID, so he was able to speak from a personal experience, but also from he's vice president of the organization, and he was able to speak he brought a lot of insight to the table about how important it is to treat your employees and to how to, they furloughed some people. So it's so important to be able to have such a strong personality at the head of the organization that will understand the importance of wellness. And I just wish there was a lot more of that in the industry.
I'm gonna give a little shout out to Paul as well. I love Paul. Paul is an awesome individual. He is tough as nails, but also just incredibly professional. When I first met Paul, and he's also had other health issues like that he's really been challenged with, but just comes out like a rock star every single time. So I'm not surprised he beat COVID. But he's just definitely one of those individuals that really stands out in the industry. So Paul, if you're watching, you're awesome. We love you. And you need to come on this show. Just throwing it out there.
Yes.
From my understanding, there's a lot of dirty little secrets you have. So we will figure out time to do that. Whoops, did I say that? Sorry, Paul. No, I'm not.
No, Paul is one of the most straight-laced, and I shouldn't say straight-laced, definitely parties, but you will never catch him off guard. He is
dig it out of him one way or another. Anyway, digressing. Sorry about that. Anyway, quick shout out now. But what are your thoughts about all this now? Now that you've ran 2 and now you're going to start planning another 2. And I think Lisa, you're working on the next 2 pretty closely with Martine. So
yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit more. Well, really, the 3 of us are going to talk a little bit more about the work that we're doing with. Are we allowed to say the other organization? I don't know.
I mean, we're partner with those guys. Your buddies.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
We do this in conjunction with SIA. So it's Women in International Security that Min and I are running in the New York area, but also in conjunction with SIA, we put on these regular webinars. Martine has been phenomenal in terms of helping us get everything set up, promoted. You've even jumped on some of the webinars now to do some intros. So we have another one that we're working on for January, which is on the trafficking side. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'll let Martine
talk about the last one. I think the last one.
Drip out information here and there later.
Yeah. Aren't you supposed to be on one of those panels too eventually, Martine, I think?
Yeah, that one was the one for branding, but personal branding.
Yes.
I thought that one was also very important. I mean, there's so much going on in LinkedIn and the importance of, especially for women. I mean, being on this is being part of head of events at Wise and having that presence of female in an industry. And I've worked in automotive, like I mentioned in the previous segment. I worked in automotive. I worked in paint, security, paint. I mean, architectural coatings and automotive coatings. I worked at Mercedes and Chrysler and very heavily dominated male industries. And it's tough, I have to say. And to have this webinar that we're working on, where it's important to have strong presence, because we, as women, we need to self-promote, and some people find that threatening. And as I don't want to say more than that, but there are.
Well, we don't find it threatening. In fact, Min and I heard that you might be working with an up and coming technology company that we'll have to keep under wraps for now, but
there's nothing wrong. Yes, we'll keep it under wraps. We don't find it threatening, but in fact, I think we find it empowering, right?
Well, and that's exactly what needs to be conveyed in the upcoming webinar, is that it should be empowering. Yes. And it should not only, you know, there's that meme that goes around, you know, empowered women empower women. Mm-hmm. It's damn true. And it's a shame that some people or other women find it, oh, well, you know, she's just showing off. Meanwhile, everyone else does it.
Oh, Min's never had to deal with that, right, Min?
I don't know. I'll keep my mouth shut on that one, but you ladies already knew the story, and we won't name names, but I think it's
no, of course not. But
it's a good education, I think, to talk about experiences that can help other young ladies who are still new to the industry, who hasn't encountered it, right? And I think, you know, for us ladies who I have to say, we were very fortunate to found each other. I think within the past year, 2 years, and come together collectively as a group to actually really support and uplift each other has been amazing. And it's really needed in the industry, regardless whether it's security or technology. And I've spanned across many of those, including, you know, the building side, construction. I mean, we need that group of women who are willing to stand up for each other.
You're bringing up a good point. Why don't you talk a little bit in terms of why some of the other folks that are on the team and what they're each working on?
Well, you want me or Martine? Martine, you're working on a bunch of them. Why don't you take this? Martine, go for it. You are coordinating all of this, and we don't want to take serious thunder. So I know you're working with a bunch of amazing other young ladies, Beth and, you know, Brett.
Yeah, I mean, I find one very interesting, actually. We're working with Tracy, Tracy Lyons, which she came up with the idea that it would be good to have a networking type event because we haven't been interacting with anybody. So, and I have to say, I challenged her, you know, I said, like, you know, do you really think people are going to come on for this? And she, you know, she convinced me. I mean, she's got full of heart, this girl. And she convinced me that, yeah, if we have some cool, compelling topics that people can come on and we can have breakout sessions, you know, it was really interesting because I came in with this like challenger type role. Like I was like,
but that's good.
Really people are going to come on and are people going to spend their time doing this? And she, you know, we communicated with Sia, like we said, and Kim was like, yeah, we've done this already. So it's I'm really excited about this one because again, it's brand new. It's exactly from when I came on board. It wasn't prepared from prior to my time. So I'm excited about it because it's part of really what, you know, Tracy came to the table and said, I think we should do this. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I hope, you know, for all the viewers out there, I hope you get the chance to see, we're gonna obviously advertise it. But it's a chance for everybody to get together and have an intelligent conversation around topics that are so important in the industry. And we haven't quite carved out what the topics are going to be yet, but there's going to be about maybe 4 or 5 of them. And we're going to have people register based on what those topics are and can have maybe a breakout session about 5 or 6 people. We don't want to make it too busy either because we want to be able to have the chance to talk because, you know, if it's like 20 people, then nobody's going to have the chance to say 2 words, right? So I'm excited about that.
I think that's what really makes our group successful because I've participated and volunteered in a number of different organizations where you have, you know, 30 to 40 women or individuals that are on a committee and they're trying to get stuff done. And it turns into this giant conference call every single time where, you know, you do the roll call and then you go over the notes and you do this and you do that. And it becomes work where we're small and nimble and we can hop on a call. All right, you guys are doing this, we're going to do that. And you just start throwing ideas back and forth. It's so efficient and so well done. I'm super impressed with this particular collective that we have going on.
But the other thing I'm very impressed is that, you know, all the young ladies and all the ladies out there are taking ownership of what they want to do. You know, really, even though we're nimble, right? They're taking ownership of it and running with it. And essentially we're basically saying, you know what, it's your baby, go run with it. If there's anything you need help, we're here to support you. Just come back to us and let us know.
Very good point that you just mentioned, the fact that you said, and if you need help, then we're here to support you. which is, so you're not quite on your own. You still have that head support that's super strong. And with both of you as co-presidents, I mean, you can't even go wrong. I mean, the support that you guys give us and the freedom to be able to run with those ideas. And it's like, yeah, sure. I mean, I have, for the one about the webinar about the empowering women, I have someone that I wanted to recommend for the panel, and there was no, this is a strong career woman that's head of marketing for a tech company in Silicon Valley. And you guys were like, yeah, sure. Like, if you're not even vetting her, like you just trust that
that's the word. That's the word right there. And, Martine, so you and I have spoken about Gary Vee, but he talks about trust, right? And if you don't trust the people that you're working with, then nothing's going to get done, or it's not going to get done as efficiently as it should be, right? Again, small group, we all kind of trust everyone to do their own thing and own it and really come through. And it's been working. So well done to everybody on that team.
Agreed.
Really good job.
But I think one of the things, maybe Elisa, you should talk about this, is all the other stuff that we're doing really quickly and how everybody falls into place with it. Because I think, we were talking about task forces from the very beginning and all the other nice stuff. I think the audience needs to know what the difference between what WISE New York does and also SIA's WISF does, because two different organizations, but even though we're partnering together very closely, there's just so much that people don't understand. It's not, that's another security group and this is another security group. There's a lot that makes us different from each other that Martine on the first episode or first portion of it was talking about, the message, what makes us different from each other.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I feel like, a lot of the content on what we deliver, whether it's Security IQ or through SIA, if we're participating in an event with them, or even just our own day-to-day work, all the content just sort of intermingles really nicely. So, we're cross-selling a lot between different groups, but there are different audiences, right? And even some of the content, Min, that you and I put together for school trainings, I'm repurposing that for other stuff that we're working on, just to collect more of that audience and reach people who really need this content and they're looking for it, but they just can't always find it.
Right.
So it's definitely a very out of the box, for this industry anyway, very much out of the box, really reaching different people that wouldn't normally attend one of these events, whether it was at the Javits or out in Vegas or whatever. So that's really cool.
But, maybe bringing back to Martine, like, what do you see? Because you've done a lot of marketing, strategizing for security and tech companies. Now that you participated in WISE, what are your thoughts about this? Like, what do you hope to see kind of go forward, as WISE New York grows?
That's a good question. I think it's important for us to just make sure that the membership levels are high and that we add value. And maybe we need to poll. And I think we did a recent survey lately. Tracy had done a survey in our last newsletter. And again, what's the feedback? And to make sure that we're listening to the members and we're listening to the people and we're delivering content that really is helpful to people's growth. You mentioned earlier, some people may not have been exposed to certain things like any type of harassment or whatever it may be. I experienced that I was 23 coming out of university and working in a male-dominated industry. And I was floored that a man could speak like that about me. And it really carved the rest of my life.
And you know what? And that's the stuff that you heard, right? Imagine all the
stuff you don't,
all the stuff you don't hear and how much worse it probably is. And it's a shame that, listen, nobody's exempt from this. Everyone falls into the category of talking smack here and there, but it is so prevalent. And there's such an old
mentality.
Yes.
and it's so true. And I was a manager very young. And again, people would be like, oh, you're already a manager at whatever, 25, whatever it was. And
must have done something for that.
Well, oh my gosh, don't even.
Oh, well, you want to hear stories. I'll tell you mine. And this is done by my own family members who actually said to me, "You're a woman. You shouldn't be so aggressive at work. You should be more." And this is back, I was back, visiting my home country in Taiwan. And my cousins actually had the nerve to say that to me and said, "You're a woman. You need to be more feminine." And they looked at my husband and says, "Do something about your wife." Oh, yeah. So, you should have seen it. Yeah, believe me. I've heard it all.
I'm sure Jimmy must have liked that. Jimmy must have liked that.
Yeah, no. Not touching notes. But anyway, sorry.
So, I mean, to answer the question, I just want us to add value and grow the membership and deliver content that, I mean, from a branding perspective, we're doing something important. And, let's make sure we do the right stuff, whether it's events, whether it's, programs in schools, whether it's these educational webinars. It's like these ones here, these Security IQ. And it's just so important to be able to have a resource that people can identify with. And that's kind of what I see. This is more I don't even know how to say the word.
Philosophical.
Philanthropy.
Philanthropy. Okay, philanthropy.
Philanthropic.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Sorry, that's my French peeking through there. Sorry about that.
Say it in French probably sounds better.
I don't even know it in French. I don't know. But so and I don't know that this is clearly volunteer, and the philanthropic component is so important, and that's where we really need to just make sure we deliver from a marketing standpoint. What I want to see for WISE is to deliver and to add value. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but it's the truth.
No, I think it sounds great, actually. For those that found it's cheesy, you shouldn't be listening to this then, because we are cheesy in some ways. Anyway.
Wow. Thank you very much for all the work that you've done for both WISE, for us individually, also for our organizations. And we're super excited that you joined us today, and we hope you come back.
Oh, I was actually thinking while you guys were speaking is that I wonder if I can do this again. So if the fact that you mentioned it is
anytime,
just so much fun, and on different topics we can.
I haven't made you blush yet, so we have to get you back so I can make you blush.
I told you my lighting's pretty good. Maybe I can.
I was just gonna say you were really not subjected to Min's interrogation, so you definitely have to come back, because I'm sure that's an episode goal is for Min to make somebody blush.
Then maybe I won't come back. I'm not sure I want to be subject to that.
I would ask us, Martine, we know you speak French. And French is a beautiful language. It's a very sexy language, because I do use it once in a while. Can you say something in French to our audience? And gentlemen, she is taken and married with kids. No touchy. Would you end it with something in French for our audience?
Geez. J'espère avoir de vos nouvelles. On a tous des belles organisations et des belles compagnies pour lesquelles on veut travailler fort. Et j'espère pouvoir vous aider dans vos défis et vous faire grandir dans vos compagnies. Mais appelez-moi si vous avez besoin de quoi que ce soit, je suis toujours disponible. I basically just said, if you guys need help with your organization, I'm sure everybody has a lot of goals that they want to achieve within their organization. And if you need help, don't hesitate to call. Give me a call. I'd love to help and have a chat.
And she'll use what I said. French voice with you too. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm teasing.
So much better in French.
Très bien.
Très bien, très bien.
Merci. Okay. Sorry, I had to go with that. But it
Thanks for putting me on the spot there.
You did well.
If you're native, you'll be fine.
All
right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And we will see you again
so much for the opportunity. I'm so glad to have been part of it.